Hello, buddy, and welcome to a hello, buddy, and welcome to a new edition of Breakfast with Jeff. This one is called Mental Health. And we'll get into the storyline. I know a lot of people thinking, "Oh no, what the hell is this about?" And I'll get into it. I'll explain a little bit more to you as the show goes on, so you understand what I'm talking about. The whole show. Actually, today I thought about this topic, and the one thing that I was really kind of getting up to is I was thinking so much about how many people thinking that and this is funny that you have a doctor who goes out and thinks he can give you a pill that can actually control your whole mind, your thought process, which is just funny. I mean, I'll be truthful to you. I'm not going to lie to my audience, even though I don't have very many audience, but I will be honest with you. I do have some situations going on inside my head. I'm not going to lie to you. Um, if you don't know, my dad passed away way back in February of 2011, and ever since that time that happened, I've been going through a lot of extreme anger. I get mad, I get upset, I start to yell, I start to scream. Sorry, I'm turning the light here so I get a little bit more light. I guess I don't do much, but I start to get upset. I scream. Most of my anger was towards my family, my brother Jay. Big time. I got mad at him. I got mad at my my sisters. I get mad at my brothers. I get mad at you know pretty much most of my family. Um, my brother Jay kind of quit being my brother. He quit talking to me. He quit speaking to me. Which I have no idea what I did wrong to create him to just walk away. And then there's my brother George, who I haven't seen in 20 years or 10 years because he decided to leave. I'm going to pull this up just a little bit here. There we go, it's a little better. Um, but yeah, my brother George is gone for 20 years. He comes out. I remember, I'll never forget, he told me that I would never ever live on my own. Always be, I'd always be, with my mom and dad. Which, now if you look at me now, I live in my own home. I pay my own bills. I live with, Sam, with my baby, my sweetheart. So I really proved him wrong. That I wasn't gonna live with my mom and my dad forever. And good thing because, like I said, my dad passes away in 2011 in February, and I've got family members who come out to this, to the funeral just to meet with people they haven't talked to in 20 years, which is really bad. Um, I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this up just a little bit. Trying to get a little bit closer so I can get a little more voice here. I'll raise my voice up a little bit, that's better. Um, but, they just use it as a big, Jesus. I apologize, I'm trying to get this camera correct here. There we go. Um, but like I said, my brothers, my sisters, it's like a big reunion, and I think it's horrible. My dad's, passed on, and my family members are just, using this as kind of like a big playground. I got my nephews running around, my nieces running around. You got kids screaming up and down. You got, you know, it's just not what everything that could make you feel upset did make me upset. You know, difference between now and then, maybe people would say, "Oh yeah, you're much better than you were before." No, I don't think a pill turned my whole mind around and said, everything's fine. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I mean, I'm not saying I do go to a doctor. I do go to a person who helps me with things like that. But I really don't think you take a pill, boom, and it just automatically changes your whole thought process. I don't believe that. I think what I believe is I started to accept a little more things. My mom's living her life now, and without my dad, and my family members are kind of took it off and did their own thing, didn't care to include me in their life, and I spent, I'd say, 20 or 15 or 20 years taking care of kids, taking care of my sister's kids, taking care of my brother's kids, taking care of his kids. I mean, so I've been there, done that, and I don't believe a pill can just automatically make your mind say, boom, it's done. I don't believe that, and I just think it's ridiculous. And the whole point is, my dad's passed on for a number of years now, and My family members are still pretty much the same way they were before. You know, my sister's doing her thing, my brothers are doing her thing. Um, my niece currently, as you know, there's a show called Kathleen's Graduation. Um, Kathleen graduated from high school, which is a very big moment. I spent the time with my dad, with my ma, and her life and her new husband, and um, my nephew and my two nephews came and sat with us, and the only thing that made it really sad was my brother Joe and his family just were totally in the complete other side of the room. They didn't want to see me, didn't want to talk to me, and that's the things that upset me so much is people that turn around and turn their backs on you. You haven't done a damn thing wrong. You haven't done anything. But be a good person, and they turn around and they turn their backs on you, which I think is absolutely horseshit. You're probably thinking, what does this have to do with mental health? Well, these were people that upset me very much. I do have videos up, but I can't get them. I apologize. But I did shows called Jay. I did shows called Penny. I did shows called, um, you know, Jay, mostly Jay. And I did those videos. Unfortunately, they're going to be gone here in a little bit. So, unfortunately, I can't do nothing to get them off and put them onto a regular thing. So, if anybody has questions about those shows, I'll be more than happy to, let you know. But Jay got caught a lot of the heat because, I went from babysitting his kids to taking care of his kids to, now not even speaking to me anymore. And I talked to him about it, during my dad's funeral when my dad was sick. I did talk to him about how do you handle this, and I told him I can't just be like that and turn my back on people just because I don't care for somebody. I don't, it's like, his wife, I'm his wife, excuse me. It's like his wife, Cindy. She's sick, she don't feel good. I could treat her miserably. I can sit and say, why is somebody so messed up on drugs? Why is somebody so screwed up? Why is this person go through all this stuff? But as much as I'm such a bad person, I never wish anybody to be treated the way you treat them. When you marry somebody, you take a vow to support them and be there for them. And nobody deserves to be treated like that. Nobody deserves to have somebody who doesn't care. And that's the whole point of what the whole message is. So I sat here in my videos and said something about, she don't deserve that. And my brother doesn't deserve to be part of that. If he can't handle being a husband and a father, if he can't be that, then I suggest he just move on. And now my brother is currently divorced, and he is living in a different, in Clayton, next to where my ma is, close to my ma, and that's pretty much about it. So that's the whole thing about that. But the whole point of the whole family thing is I suffer from anger. I get angry, I get upset. I don't believe you take a pill and just automatically changes your entire thought process. I don't believe that. I think I'm taking pills like Pez. They don't do. I don't feel nothing. I don't feel any different than I do before. But it's like, like I said, the pharmacy right now has got my anger medicine, and I really don't see anything changing on me on the aspects of taking this pill. I don't see anything that changed. I think I changed. I think I turned around and said I can't be like this. You want to keep giving me prescriptions of shit and say take it, so be it. That's how that is. Now, mental health has been a long, long time ago. Let me give you case in point. Everybody knows about serial killer Ed Gein. Now, if you don't know who Ed Gein is, he was a Wisconsin farmer who was a grave robber, who basically danced with women's skin. He made lampshades out of human skin. He had a woman gutted out like a deer inside his shed. So he was obviously a very crazy man. And I never forget, because this is according to my dad. Now, I don't believe this story, but supposedly him, my grandpa, and actually Ed Gein were actually in a room together. and they were shooting. I don't know if they're shooting dimes or quarters or whatever it was for cups of coffee. So I don't know. I mean, serial killer Ed Gein's in a factory drinking coffee. Go figure. The whole point of what I'm saying here was about Ed Gein. Ed Gein did all these murders, and what he got out of this was he ended up going to a mental hospital, spending his life in a mental hospital. Think about this. If there was actually a doctor, excuse me, if there was actually a doctor that actually would go out and take care of Ed Gein, I don't think Ed Gein would be as messed up as he is. I mean, which is pretty understandable. He lost his father, he lost his mother. I mean, I can understand why he would just he'd be going through stuff. But I think if he seriously was as messed up as he is, you think he would have went to a doctor and he got prescriptions, he got medication to help him with this. Instead, he goes out and kills all these people. Instead of going to prison like a normal person would, he ends up going to a mental hospital. Case in point, the guy goes up, shoots up a movie theater. Instead of him going to prison or shooting up and almost killing all these people, he ends up going and saying he's mentally disabled. Just an excuse to stay out of prison. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's the best thing to do. I'm gonna go shoot up a church, but I'm just gonna say I'm mentally disabled. I'm not all there. I suffer from anger. Doesn't matter. You went out. You went out. You fully aware of what you did. You got all these guns, and that's another thing. As we talk about mental health and being disturbed, that's another thing. Guns. You can go right to Walmart. That's right. A simple place is Walmart and pick up a gun and buy a gun. And you wonder why people shoot people, because they have legal rights to get guns. Seriously. And then I did a voicemail from my doctor's nurse, and she says that it would be really nice if I get a hold of the doctor and let him know about my medicine. First off, I shouldn't have to tell that doctor a damn thing, number one. Number two, I shouldn't have to deal with all this crap of having to know which medicine I need to get. The doctor should already have it made and already fill it. I should not have to sit and wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes for my medicine to be here. Simple as that. Am I a little agitated? Yeah, you can say that. I'm agitated because I'm tired of always having to ask and talk to the doctor and tell him shit. It shouldn't be my job. You should have everything right there. Say, oh, I noticed that you didn't get this. I'm going to make sure you get that. And it doesn't matter if it's a mental health doctor or a regular doctor. It's the same thing. They give you maybe 1 or 2 or 3 refills. You know damn well I just put you on this medicine, but I'm not providing you enough the medicine like you're supposed to. So it's not a case of, oh, you need to go see them. It's a case of they just don't do their job correctly. In the Target Pharmacy. If I screw up, I get a little weird, or I start ranting and raving and bitching and complaining, it's your fault. You could have sat here, you could have gave me enough medicine to cover me until I talked to the doctor, but you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. You had to turn around and you had to give me only a couple days, which you know damn well that ain't going to do a damn thing for me. But I'll tell you the truth, I am more clear. I don't believe that medicine does a damn thing for me. I may be screwed up a little bit, but I'm not screwed up so much that you think I am. I adapted a lot better than people think. What's the point I'm trying to say? Is went back in 2011. It's understandable. I lost my father. I'm upset. I'm upset at my family turning their back on me, not even fucking acknowledging me. Not even saying, hey Jeff, how you doing? Are you okay? If you need anything, don't be afraid to call me, talk to me. But they're too busy with their life. Whatever they do, they think is much better. And that's wrong. There is not one person that will come out and say, Jeff, if you need anything, call me. Talk to me. I'm always going to be here to listen to you. They're too busy with their lives. Whatever their lives, I'm too busy drinking my beer. I'm too busy chewing my icicles. I'm too busy going out and going to FFA meetings. I'm too busy going in here and going there. It's not the point. You can go out and you can spend a minute with me and say, hey, I'm here for you. If you need anything, talk to me. I'm always going to be there if you need me. But none of them, not one of them said, hey, I'm going to be there for you. So what I did is I learned to adapt. That's right. Pills didn't do a damn thing for me. I adapted. I sat here and thought to myself, okay, guess what? This is not me. I should not be sitting here ranting and raving. Now I'm going to tell you something. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm different than anybody else. Everybody rants and raves and bitches about something. If someone goes and drives their car and if somebody cuts them off, they sit and flip the middle finger and say, fuck you. And they do that because they're pissed off. Because somebody did something to instigate that. Somebody goes down to their job and they think their job sucks donkey shit. But you know what? They rant and they rave and say they sucks. But you know what? Like it or not, they go to their job, they go work 8 hours a day, and they get paid. They get their paycheck. Simple as that. So you're not screwed up in the head just because you feel something. It's just how things work. So you can sit and say, oh, you can sit there and use the mentally disabled thing all you want. Ed Gein used the mentally disabled thing, and he ended up being in a hospital instead of a prison. People like the guy who shot up the movie theater, he was mentally disabled. And a guy who shoots up a school with kids, once again, he's mentally disabled. They sit and throw that thing around like it's just some sort of dumb little thing. So let me explain something to you. When somebody is mentally disabled, somebody goes through something, it is a very serious thing. It's not some joke, you just throw it around. And that's what America does. Throws it around, everybody. You don't think about it. 3 serial killers, 3 people that have done shit, have all sat and said they're mentally screwed up in the brain. Bullshit. They just don't want to go to prison. That's what you say. Well, my client is mentally disabled. He is just going through some mental issues. No. The guy knew exactly what he's doing. He knew enough to get a gun. He knew enough to go into a theater and shoot up a bunch of people. He knew it. The guy knew he was going to go into a school and he knew he was going to shoot whoever he wanted to shoot, and that was it. And just like Ed Gein, he knew enough to go and make the lampshades. He knew enough to gut out some chick. He knew enough to do all this stuff. And he got away with just saying he's mentally disabled. And if he was really mentally disabled, why didn't a doctor take care of him before this shit even got started? Because they didn't do a damn thing. And the thing I'm trying to tell you folks is everybody thinks, and this is, I just close my eyes and I just think, why do everybody think that this is just some sort of joke? That is just a joke. I'm going to sit and use this and throw this around because it's a good thing to get my client, to get somebody off from doing a heinous crime. Whatever you call it. And then you have my situation. I'm angry. I'm pissed off. But see, let me explain one thing to you. The things that piss me off are things that people do. People that instigate and bring up my anger. Think about it. You go to a store, someone cuts you off, someone bumps into you, someone stands in the middle of the aisle. That's the things that raise up your anger just a little bit. Somebody goes and cuts you off on the highway, you get pissed off and you get angry. Your anger just goes up just a little bit. But think about what would happen if there was a world where everybody was sweet and kind. Everybody walked into you, they said, excuse me. Or they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. If they would all say stuff like that, nobody in America would be upset. Nobody in America would have problems and getting all angry and crazy. It's natural. It's just natural that you get upset about stuff. It's just how it works. And you think that in America that there's not thousands and hundreds of people that get upset and angry about something, that you are living in a whole different country, a whole different world, because it doesn't exist. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the whole point of this video, is to understand that there's no such thing as somebody being mentally disabled or mentally screwed up. There's no such thing. Because somebody can be upset about something. I'm not saying that some people don't have, mental issues that come up. Some people do, some people don't. But just because somebody gets angry about something, that's what I think about very muchly. Is think about, no matter what, you gotta get angry about something to be able to raise your anger up. I talk about, one thing I read about, and one of the things try learning about a little bit, and I think about, is bipolar disorder. And it is a common, it is a disability that's, very, it's something that, some people go through. I mean, I think about it, and I'm not trying to be an expert here, but one thing I do learn is, for these people to go through something like this, it has to be instigated. Something has to happen to drive up that illness. I mean, you can't just sit and say, if there's nobody, doing something or angering someone, doing something like that, I don't think this illness would be pushed out as much. I mean, if I go out and I do something like, I sit here, I make a mess all over the floor, or I drop a dish, I'm doing something to instigate, to kind of make that level go up. But if I'm sitting here doing everything I can do to make it easier, make it, help the person go through that, then this illness is not as big and heavy as it is. I mean, it has to be instigated. You got to do something to push out that moment and that situation. And like with my illness, I don't feel that I have some illness. I mean, you can give me every kind of pill under the sun, it ain't gonna change the way I am. And I'm sorry to say, it just ain't gonna do it. You can sit and spend all this money and you're not doing a damn thing. I'm sorry. The reason why is it has to be instigated for me to get upset. See, I got upset for a very good reason. My family didn't give a damn about me when I was going through a very traumatic situation. My sister walked away, my brother walked away, my family walked away. There was nobody there to help me through this. And instead of being angry, instead of being upset and crying and just going out of my mind, I ended up being angry and frustrated. And you know what? Nobody was there to say, it's going to be okay. You're going to get through this. And because it didn't happen, my anger went up. Now it's 2014. It's been a few years. Now my anger goes and levels off. Now the only way to make this go up or down is basically just by making me upset. Somebody goes and does something, it goes up. Someone makes me more mad, it goes up, and then I just boom explode. But it's got to be instigated for somebody to do anything to make it go up. Before, my anger was right up here, but now after time has passed, my anger is down here. It's right level. So basically, that's how it is. That's what I'm trying to understand. I don't want people to think, oh, geez, you can give me like I said, you can give me every pill in this thing. It's not doing a damn thing for me. It ain't changing me. I'm not any different than I was before. I just adapted, that's all. I learned that, I can't sit and keep dwelling on the past. I can sit and say, I'm pissed off at my family. And I can continue until my eyes pop out. It ain't going to change. So either I adapt, or I just live my life being angry all the time. And I adapted. I said, okay, that's how it is. That's how I'm going to deal with it. So that's as far as that goes. But do I think everybody in America is going through something like this? No. No, and I'll tell you why. There's people out there who've got anger issues. Some people got bipolar. Some people disorder. Some people got. I mean, there's so many people. I go to the doctor. I go to the mental health center, and I learn, and I look in to see a lot of people sitting there, not just me. There's a lot of people sitting there for several different reasons. And here's another thing that I noticed. Check this out. My dad has passed on. I'm upset. I'm going through stuff. I'm getting angry. I'm getting frustrated. And I had a doctor who was a therapist. And what's really funny is the therapist turns around and cuts my sessions and says, I'm done. I'm messed up in the brain. I've got anger issues going through my brain. And my therapist says I'm done. I don't need to talk to her no more. Maybe she feels threatened that I said that, I talked to her as a person sitting at a bar, not a doctor. Maybe that threatened her. Something must have made her kind of eerie, because I can't understand how somebody would just say, oh, you're done now. You're going through all these mental things, but that's okay. You're through now. I don't need to talk to you no more. I hate to tell you, I'm still not exactly all back there yet. I'm still the same way I was before. So now I go see this doctor, and I don't think anything's changed from me. I'm still the same person. I still have the same anger issues I had before. It doesn't matter if I take 50 pills, it's not going to change who I am. And I think if people think that I changed, then I think they're really not all there. Because it doesn't matter what you're going through. It's got to be instigated. Somebody's got to do something to you to make you feel the way you do. Same, like I said with mine. Somebody has to actually get me angry for me to go up, to me to raise my level. Okay? I got about 5 minutes here on this topic. I usually keep up these about 30 minutes. The reason why is I don't want to drag on and drag on and drag on. So I'll get to the point of what I'm saying here. And the point is that no matter if you got bipolar disorder or you got some other thing you're going through, anger, whatever it is, I don't think it's something that it's really horrible. I think what happens is, and I guess I don't know much about bipolar disorder. I don't know how bad it's gotten. I guess I have never been through that. One thing I did always talk about and I always had questions about is that it has to be instigated. It has to be, it's like if someone is sick and somebody's going through something and say, well, this person can't talk to you, but they can nod their head. You come in there and you talk to them because you feel to make them feel comfortable. So with a person with the bipolar disorder, if you go out and you do everything you can to make them feel comfortable and not make them upset, I think that, it makes it a whole different story. If I go out and I start doing something to make them mad and make them agitated, it just makes that thing go all out of whack. The point I'm saying is, you got to do something. You got to do something to instigate to make somebody feel the way they do. I don't believe that it just all of a sudden comes out and it's all bad and all that. I think it all depends on how you treat it and how you, not exactly how you treat it, but how you go through it and how you take care of it. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. So, that's as far as I'm concerned, and that's how I feel. So, like I said, I got 3 minutes left. I just want to say that my thoughts on the whole thing. You can take as many pills as I want. It's not going to change who I am. I'm not gonna change my anger. I'm not gonna. If I feel there's something that agitates me, I'm gonna get pissed off, just like any normal person would. So you can go ahead and pop whatever the pill you want. If you think it's working, that's great. But to me, it doesn't do a damn thing. I'm still the same way I am. I still feel the same way I am. That's as far as that goes. But as far as that goes, I don't really care. So, and I think about, if this was such a wonderful thing, I think people like Ed Gein would be thrown in prison and not in some mental health hospital. I think people that shoot up a school or shoot up a movie theater, they would be in prison. They wouldn't be going and saying they're all mentally disabled, all screwed up in the head, because I don't believe it. So I think the world doesn't get it. The world thinks they have to use the thing mentally disabled, to get what they want. And I know damn well that anybody who shoots up a school or shoots up a theater or guts out some woman in a shed, I think they're all screwed up in the head enough to go right to prison. They can go and spend their lives in there and see how that feels. Because anybody who keeps on saying they're mentally disabled, that everybody in America will go kill somebody because they don't have to worry about going to prison, because they're just going to say they're screwed up in the brain. So that's like saying, gee, I'm screwed up in the brain. I got anger issues, so that's understandable. I'm not all there. That's the reason why I go slit somebody's throat. I just wasn't all there. I just got angry. I don't know why. It's just my illness. No, it's not an illness. It's just a case of I knew what I was doing. I went out and did it. I had no remorse. That's the way it is. Go to prison. That's as far as that goes. So that's the situation there. I have got about just a few seconds left. This is Breakfast with Jeff, Mental Health. And we're going to be coming up in here in a little bit. We're going to do our first In Memory of episode show. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming up here in just a few minutes. Just to let you know the name of this one, Breakfast with Jeff. This is called Breakfast with Jeff, Mental Health. And that's what's going on there. Everybody have a good day. We'll see you next time.